Good afternoon, colleagues. The UCMC continues its work. Now we will have a briefing on Kherson Regional Council intends to cancel prospective plan of communities union result of legal ignorance or a conscious abuse of power. So now, together with the Kherson Briefing Center, we will have this briefing. And our speakers today are Andriy Putilov, the head of Kherson Regional Council, Sergei Sheshov, head of Department of Local Self-Government, Anatoliy Tkachuk, Director on Science and Development, Institute of Civil Society. We will start with you, Andriy, because the situation, it is about Kherson Oblast. There were attempts to cancel perspective plan of communities union. There were cases when district councils come to the regional council with the proposal to cancel the perspective plan. And there were no amendments introduced into the perspective plan. Can you explain why the situation is like that? And the perspective plan was introduced by the Cabinet of Ministers, not by local council. Good afternoon. Whether we want or not, but the perspective plan of decentralization in Kherson region is related to politics. There was an attempt to organize Ukrainian coup in Kherson yesterday, and myself and the head of administration, we warned that there was such an attempt. We keep it all under control. I believe that at the local level we will be able to settle it. I would like to state my position. I am in Kiev to talk openly to you. I am in a way because for 2 years I am combating all corruption schemes. I don't allow to steal budgetary money. I fire the leaders who are the leaders from the times of Yanukovych. So please talk about the perspective plan. Today, the perspective plan of the development. Переходя через мост, шляпа, да? The Kherson region was one of the first regions that passed the perspective plan of development. What it is the design of a house. Then we need the blueprint. Those people who worked in times of Yanukovych, they want to use the perspective plan of development of Kherson region and turn it into politics. They're trying to organize a coup in Kherson Regional Council. So I would like to say that today there are different political forces who are not happy with this perspective plan. One community, Kachubevska community, received they had elections, they elected a new head of the community, and they will receive 5 million hryvnias to develop infrastructure. In total, there will be 17 new communities created in Kherson region. Why it is so important? I see that the future of Ukraine and the future of Kherson region is to make people independent on their land. Batькivshchina is against it. They are against all the reforms which are implemented in Kherson region. Unfortunately, many politicians, many political forces are involved into that fight. In June, Mr. Darchenko, who was the member of Regional Council, was raising this issue about cancelling the perspective plan. But this person doesn't care about the laws of Ukraine. He's trying in order to destabilize the situation.
Крым. И политическая стабильность – это вопрос номер один.
Political stability is the priority for our region. So today we have experts with who I would like to share my plans. We have no right today not to give a chance to the communities to develop. Thank you. Sergei Sashov. On the 5th of August 2015, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the perspective plan of regional development, and local authorities are now talking about cancelling it. What's the position of the ministry? Based on the norms of the Constitution of Ukraine, the civil servants, the local authorities have to act only according to the legislation and the Constitution of Ukraine. If the law clearly states all the competences and powers of all authorities when it comes to decision making, talking about perspective plan of communities union, I can tell you that development of perspective plan is done by the regional administration. The regional council is to approve it, and the final document is to be passed by the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine. Based on what I said, all the authorities, including state authorities, local authorities, are to act according to the legislation. And the law is the law on voluntary unification of territorial communities. There is a certain order of introducing changes or cancelling the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers. This should be that the final result should be a decision of the Cabinet of Ministers, but not the decision of the Regional Council. The situation is strange in Kherson region when now we have about 20 united territorial communities. The Regional Council is for the common interests of territorial communities, but if the perspective plan is cancelled, such communities will not get any direct relations with the state budget. They will not get any powers and funds to execute these powers. It's strange. Yes, it is strange. Also, the amendments were not introduced into the perspective plan like it was in other regions, in Lvivsky, in Mykolaievsky region. And it's not about introducing amendments to perspective plan, but they're talking about cancelling. What does that mean? When the decision was made by the government of approval of perspective plan of Kherson region, The instructions were given to state administration of Kherson region not to cancel, but to introduce some amendments. Basically, the regional council, executing the norms of the law on voluntary unification, had to work on that additionally and introduce amendments to the prospective plan, which was approved by the Cabinet of Ministers, but not cancel it. Thank you, Sergei. Anatoliy. You are the founder of decentralization, and you know in detail about all the processes taking place in Ukraine. This situation in Kherson region, is it specific? How can you explain what has become the reason for such intentions of some part of local authorities to cancel the prospective plan? You know, I'm not very young and I've spent many years in this process. What can I say? First, I believe that Party B has come up with a new idea not to allow to create real self-governance at the regional level. Why I say that? Because they launched a virus in two regional councils, that the regional councils make a decision to redistribute, to turn the powers, to move them to contractual basis. The local councils had more перевищили вимоги. The initiation and cancelling of the prospective plan is like a virus, because the cancelling will not have any legal consequences. Like all, you have passports. The authority makes a decision to cancel the certificate on birth. Will your passports be annulled? No. That is why the cancelling of the plan by the regional council does not mean anything legally, but only politically. That's one of the elements of destabilization of the situation. How can the state react to that? The state reacted to such things in the past. In 1994 in Ukraine, we had regional councils with regional executive committees. The head of the regional council was elected by all the population. They had all the powers to address all the regional issues. In Kherson region, there were decisions made on prohibition of taking out sand. The decision was made not to introduce coupons, and the result, the state started to disintegrate. In 1995, the executive committees of regional councils were cancelled, and the councils were deprived of the powers, and now there is a concept according to which the regional councils can strengthen their powers. This is not politics, but this is something which is directed not towards the development of the region. I believe it's quite logical to introduce amendments to the constitution which will not be voted for. The party that used to say that we will be developing local self-governance and we will give the rights to regional level is now failing all that opportunities. But this is really just political discussion. There's an impression that why do we have this situation? One of the arguments which we can hear is that the voluntary principle is not democratic. From your experience, from what you know about the centralization in European countries, is that true that it is so? Ukrainian scenario is very liberal compared to voluntary processes of unification that were taking place in Denmark or Latvia. We are very liberal. The second stage of unification in Denmark in 2005, the decision was made that we are implementing the new stage of administrative territorial reform in 2006. It was suggested that all should unite, and all united, with the exception of one municipality that was added to the map. And the 1st January 2007, Denmark had a new system of administrative territorial system. Latvia. In Latvia from 93, when the law on administrative territorial system was passed, there was a very slow unification, and it did not end up it did not produce any result till 98. Then the parliament approved new map with new boundaries, and in a year Latvia received a new administrative territorial system. And there were some amendments introduced because they had to disintegrate one municipality, because when it was created, it was lobbyism that won there, and that is why we have very liberal attitude to unification. And the problems of unification are caused by lobbyism, when people are stepping away from the rules, which leads to creation of communities, part of which will not be able. You know, in time when they were developing the plan, we worked with the heads of village councils, with public opinion leaders, but the feudalism of some personalities, some feudals, were trying to get their territory into the community. They didn't care anything about ambulance, about where the school is. First of all, that was lobbyism. Now we are trying to do it in democratic way, like it did it in Poland. The Poland woke up in the morning and they found out that there are many communities in Poland now. Today, with our democratic approach, we came to a dead end. The heads of village councils do not want to merge with weaker communities. Thank you. Now we have colleagues in Kherson Media Center. They will ask some questions. There will be a 30 seconds delay, but I hope everything will be fine.
Dear colleagues from Kherson, can you hear us? Yes, we hear you. The first question. I'm Katerina Ponomarenko. I'm representing the Kherson Oblast Organization Committee of the Voters of Ukraine. As far as I know, Batkivshina made statements about cancellation of this plan, and as far as I know, Batkivshina stood for the cancellation of the plan. They wish to renegotiate it. So they do not say that the plan is not needed. They just wish to pass the new plan. So whether the situation is possible and what threats this may inherit for the united communities. When we analyze the law about volunteer unions of local communities, then the plan should be offered by the oblast or the local community council, and no political party can initiate any changes to the plan. And thus, any party is not able to do this. There is a general structure how the system of management should work. If there is a group of MPs which wishes to influence the situation, it has to initiate the procedure of monitoring how the decentralization is going on. In result of that decentralization, they may develop any changes to the amendments to the legislation, but they cannot change the situation the relations which already exist. We people who are today in front of you are interested in the development. Now, another question from Kherson Media Center. The question from Kherson. Cannot hear you, cannot hear you. Please switch on the mic. I am Oksana Siliukova. I'm representing the Journalist Investigation Center. Today we have found information that inside the case about separatists, some of your friends are involved. I was asked not to raise political issues, but unfortunately, those people whom you were mentioned, I was imposed to work. I was forced to work with these people. I was forced to work with them. Before Independence Day, we posted posted pictures of 80 heroes. That person came and expressed his non-respect to those people. After that, I do not speak to him, actually. And the last question on behalf of Kherson. Good afternoon, Bill Sisno, Media State, Kherson. There is decision of Kyievska Village Council about changing the plan. What was the response from the oblast level to the district council suggestion? As far as I know, we have just Kochubeyevska community. So the administration analyzes activities of new communities. And thank you, Kherson Media Center. Now we come back to Kyiv. Media room, and as far as I understood that Kyiv local community demanded from Oblast Council to cancel the prospective development plan. Anatoliy and Mr. Andriy, how do you think whether decentralization would allow us to resolve this issue with politicanism at the local level. The main issue here is the issue of supervision. As of today, Ukraine is only one state in the world where there is no supervision over the legality of the local authority issues. In the past, this function was carried out by the prosecutor's office. Today, it does not have this function. Alexei mentioned that the officials have to act on the framework of the limits established for them by the constitution and legislation. Thus, if any village council makes a decision not falling within its competence, then it should be blocked, it should be stopped, and such decision would not come into force. I think that if the local councils make a legal decision on systemic framework systemically, then in all other countries except Ukraine, such councils are immediately dissolved and the re-elections are appointed. So I think that this once again proves that we have to amend our legislation to fill in this loophole, and which would allow to prevent from similar situation. I do not have a question. I would like to get some specification. Natalia Vazalovska, advisor to the Oblast Council head. The process started very actively. 5 local communities are expecting to have elections. 6 have received positive opinions about their prospective plans. Some people understood, in many communities, people understood that it's good to be self-governed. And those local authorities which make decision about cancellation of the plans, this is done with the purpose to have some precedent. Representatives of the B party travel around among communities and convince the village heads to oppose the plan. Yeah. Yesterday, representatives of the communities visited our session. They may visit Kiev session to protect their economic rights. So we have to launch the rethinking in humans' minds. People should understand that they should be responsible for everything that happens on their land. I think that Kherson Oblast will survive in all these hardships. And I would like to add to those people who try to destabilize situation. We are pre-border oblast. We are interested in preserving the balance in the oblast. Any further remarks? I have very short remark. Do not take into account what Oblast Rada would think about the prospective plan. my appeal to the Kherson communities is as follows. Look at your neighbors, how successfully they are moving. If your Oblast Council is doing politicism, then they will fail. Today, our foremost objective is to popularize positive experience of first united communities and show the new hospitals, new roads, etc. So to show successful pilot projects. And I would like to add, pay attention at Kherson Oblast. We are very close to the border, and on the success of our reforms, the bringing Crimea back will depend very much. Let us demonstrate European values. Thank you, dear speakers. Thank you, dear audience. Bye-bye.